Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently working on additional peacetime shenanigans. Of course, we're planning on additional war, there's no doubt about that. But for right now, we're just going to do a region-wide industrial integration, and we are going to... I really need to look at that tooltip, but we're going to build here, because I happen to see immediately where that's buildable. Fantastic, we'll move that up to the top of the list. Building civilian factories is of course our absolute top priority right now. So we will get that underway. And of course, we're going to build this infrastructure when we can. Now, this is being built in our subject nations. I'm not sure how useful that actually is right now. Maybe we want that to be bottom priority. Yeah, let's make that bottom priority for right now. So we'll get all of this underway, and this does mean that we're going to be able to be building multiple infrastructure, and that is fantastic. We also definitely need infrastructure in Asturias, and so let's make that be top prio as well. We don't want to be taking attrition up here if we can help it. We are taking attrition, which isn't good. This is not good at all. Let's work on bringing these numbers up. Hello, pause menu. Excellent. So we'll bring these numbers up a bit, and that should be finishing up fairly shortly-ish. At least, it should be finishing up enough shortly-ish. So, of course, we've got this whole allies problem, right? That is certainly a problem. We'd like to find some people who are not allies. Of course, there's the Republic of Vietnam, and there's also Siam over here. Now, we do need to keep in mind, we don't actually care about these resources that much. So there's that. I mean, they've got chromium, that would be nice, but we really don't care too much about that. I noticed that the United States kept to this, and if you look at the resources, you can figure out why. Very, very easily. Fantastic. So there is all of that. For now, of course, we're mostly just working on training up and replacing some tanks. That's our primary focus at this point, is building tanks. Apparently we're down to needing 9,000 total tanks. That is absolutely wonderful, actually. That means that we are only going to have a shortage for 201 more days. And a day just passed, so 200 more days. Fantastic. Of course, we're working on this training. We're not going to deploy these guys early, and they are lacking in a few modern tanks, so we'll just allow that to continue forward. And we should be running up our manpower fairly soon here, actually. If we check here, we can see... It looks like, at this point, we only need about 60,000 manpower. We'll see how accurate that is, but I think that's what's... I think that's what this is telling me. In which case, it should be only a few more month ticks. That said, that doesn't take into account the fact that we're taking attrition up here. And that is definitely rough. This attrition does mean that we're not actually losing manpower right now, or if we are, we're instantly replacing it. We definitely do need to have additional supply up here. There's no doubt about it. Luckily, we should be finishing that up quite soon. There's a month tick. We got 21k manpower from that. That is more than what we're expecting. By a pretty wide margin, actually. Fascinating. I'm wondering why we got that much. And it is taking time to send it out to the various locations it needs to go to, but that is fully expected. By the time the next month tick comes around, we'll be at 0 manpower, and we will have been there for quite some time. No doubt about that. We are going to be completing this civilian factory just in a couple of hours here. That's wonderful. There we go. It's done. And we're going to be completing the naval base in Asturias in about about a week. We're going to be completing a level of infrastructure there in about 10 days. So we're not going to have too much more attrition out here. Both of those together should very easily max out our incoming supply. Or not max it out, but match it to the required supply. So, I mean, I think either of those would actually get us there, but both of them should exceed it, in theory. So that'll be great. And of course, we don't want to launch this war with us being wildly lacking in tanks right now and no manpower in our pool. So that's all very, very important that we continue this. Let's check in on the Argentine Republic. They are currently 30% fascist. That's great. We're very happy about that. We don't really have any ciphers being decrypted right now, but we're also not at war, so that's okay. We do have a few decisions available, and we could do promises of peace, but that would remove war support. We actually want to do the opposite. We want to increase war support. How is our fascism level going anyway? We are 100%. Perfect. We have another free military factory, and I'm wondering where these are coming from. Just from compliance, perhaps? I feel like we don't need it. I guess we'll put it in over here. We may want to think about converting some military factories over, though. Having this be at like 5, 5, 5, and then 5 and 5. Like that. Leaving this at 30, this at 50, this at 150. That would mean we have how many free military factories? We would have, let's see, 258 to 272. That is, math is hard. That would be 15 in theory. So we would want to convert, in theory, 15 factories. And I'd kind of like to convert some of our overseas factories. So click on a civilian or military factory icon to start conversion. Convert one civilian to one military. We want the other way around. Okay. Something like that. And then, let's see, that was, let's see here. Yeah, that's not showing up in this. Let's just do that. That was 7. We know we wanted 15, right? So let's go ahead and convert a few more. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, I don't think we have access to all of these necessarily. That's okay. So we're going to get these conversions done, and that should go pretty quickly. I really don't think we need this many military factories. Oh, we don't want these up here. Get out of here. Wait, was that one of them that we do want? No. No, we don't want those up there. Okay. So we'll get these conversions done as quick as we can. And that should go absolutely fine. Those should go fairly swiftly, and we do have military factories not in use, but as they get converted, that should, in theory, go away, if I've calculated this correctly, which I probably haven't, if I'm honest. I probably haven't. Luckily, our armored divisions are underway in terms of their training, and that is glorious. We're very happy about that, of course, and once they get done, we will ship them off to their requisite locations. We need 4 here, we need 2 here, and we need 3 here. So that is, what, a total of 9? I just want to make sure. This is 8. Did I math wrong? 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Yeah. I mathed wrong. We'll need to add a modern tank brigade here. Okay. Good to know. We'll get that underway, and that training will begin immediately. If the unit is fully equipped, training will be finished on 15 April 1962. But of course, we don't have enough manpower to train. Yeah, it's getting very, very late. But like I said, we don't have a time limit on this. We are not in a hurry. So that is wonderful. We are going to want to declare on these guys eventually, but for right now, that's not going to be a thing, and we should see this get eaten up immediately by this modern tank brigade, the manpower that we got here. Technically, yes. That is now fully kitted out with manpower. Fantastic. So that will get underway, and we do need modern tanks in there, but it should get modern tanks quickly enough. So we're currently, in terms of our modern tanks, at minus 8k. And of course, that's because we need 1,000 more for the new regiment that we just queued up. The shortage will last for 179 days, so about 6 months here. That's not too bad. There's a civilian factory finishing up. That's fantastic. These conversions are going to continue for a reasonable length of time, and that is fine. It is currently October, and we do want to start thinking about when we're going to attack Portugal. This is almost exclusively tungsten. They do have some chromium over here and some steel over here. We want that steel. We don't really care about the tungsten. We've got plenty of that. Although that is a decent trading thing for us, right? So we'll be able to trade off that tungsten. Export that. And over here, of course, there's also 15 additional steel. The aluminum, we don't really care too much about, or the rubber. There's 10 more steel here, and then up in Zaire, there's some rubber and some tungsten that we don't really care about. But we want to take this to get access to this. That's the overall idea. And hopefully they remain non-aligned, but I believe that they will. So that's great. We can also do a region-wide industrial integration, and so we shall. Once again, I need to read those tooltips. Luckily, no, we don't actually know where it is. Over here, perhaps? We don't actually know where it is, because I didn't read the tooltip, and I really need to do that. That desperately needs to happen. It's possible that it's just in a location that we can't build one in anyway. So I'm going to guess that that's the case. Yeah, I'm going to guess that's the case. Okay. So for now, we're going to continue to observe as we construct these. It's definitely taking longer to convert these than I was expecting, considering that we have our conversion upgrades finished up. Like, in here. Or not in here, in here. Both of these. I was expecting this to go much faster with that 80% increased conversion rate. But apparently that's still a pretty slow process here. I mean, we do have service by requirement, which isn't really helping. That said, we may want to think about backing off on service by requirement. Maybe. That said, to go back up, we do have to be at war. So I don't know, maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe we're okay with the increased construction time since we're at peace anyway. I mean, we're going to be finishing up all these naval bases. Most of them are pretty unnecessary, if I'm honest. But we're going to be finishing up our infrastructures fairly soon here, actually. Are we still interested in prioritizing Asturias construction for the naval base? I don't think so. We've got the supplies that we need up here now, so I don't think that is necessary at this time. So we're going to retask those civilian factories into working on infrastructure. However, we're not interested right now in infrastructure in our client states. So we'll get rid of those, and we'll produce the infrastructure that we hold ourselves as quickly as possible. And that should happen, honestly, pretty quickly. And then these down here, eventually. Also in the eventually category, locations that already have an airbase getting maxed out. These are not super important, but if there's already an airbase there, let's get it to level 10. This will all sit at the absolute bottom priority. So we've got an airbase here. We've got one here and here. We do have an airbase here, level 1. So yeah, just all of these up to level 10. And then perhaps down over here as well. That's already level 10. Okay, good to know. And then over here. Again, these are probably not going to be necessary. This is just things that I'm queuing up as a low priority thing. Very similar to the naval bases. If they become necessary, we will be glad that they are here. But we hope that we don't need to use them. That's the idea. Okay, so there's all that queued up. We're not queuing up every state's airbase. But that should be fine for now. Okay, and then we should also queue up in border states only anti-air. So locations like all of these, in locations like these over here, as I said, border states only. So this one is technically a border state. That one really isn't, but I guess we'll queue it up. Or no, we didn't queue it up, actually. But yeah, in border states only, we'll put in anti-air. And eventually, we will think about the situation of forts. But that is not really something to think about at this exact moment. So that's Republic of China there. That's Russian Federation. So all of these are technically border states. I'm also counting coasts as border states here. So that will be fine. And then we'll also definitely want some over here. This is all coast. So we'll just queue all of this up. And then all of this, of course, in coastal regions and border regions. This is very unlikely to actually get built. I'm going to be clear about that. We're not going to wait for all of this, right? Like, it's extremely unlikely. So we'll get all of that queued up. Wonderful. So that gets us some air defenses queued up. And eventually we may think about doing something with those, but for right now, no. We're still working on quite a lot of constructions over here. So let's work next on queuing up coastal forts. Now, we really don't prioritize these. But we're just going to queue them so that there's something that we can work on. Okay, so this is not going to get coastal forts up here, of course. All of this up over this way. I wish I could, like, click and drag. That would be nice. But this is all very low priority. Okay. Just in case we just don't have anything else to work on, which is unlikely, in my opinion. We'll get all of this coastline up over this way done. Can we go up this way? I'm not sure where our actual borders are. This map mode is not actually particularly helpful on that front. Technically, that is coast. Technically, this is coast. Okay, this is our borders here. And then, let's see here. Yeah, we don't have any of this up over here. So we'll build coastal forts over here, like so, as well as coastal forts down here. Approximately like that. And also coastal forts in Panama. Of course, this is in the US, but this over here, we can build coastal forts in. And we're just going to fortify our entire coast here. Well, we're probably not actually going to build this. Like, this is a lower priority than our land forts, right? And I probably should have done the land forts first, now that I think about it. Regardless, it's fine. We can always reprioritize it later on. Okay, so there's our Cuban holdings. And then over here in our Russian and Chinese holdings, we will go ahead and push up over this direction. Just get all of this queued up. There we go. We just want to make naval invasions as difficult as possible is the idea here. And then land invasions we'll build land forts for, of course, and those are more important, I think, than the coastal forts. But that's fine. So we'll just build all of these over here. Wonderful. And then that up there. Okay, so there's that coast handled. Next up, this coast over here. Okay. So just get all of these. There we go. I'm just wondering why this is green, but it's fine. Okay, so we'll just get these ready to go-ish, and you'll note the game is not paused during this. We're just trying to continue our buildings right now and get this all queued up. Nice. Okay, so this over here will be fine. I did not mean to do that. We're going to go back into our constructions here and continue to build our coastal forts over here. There we go. Is this coast over here? No. Okay. Never sure if navigable rivers are a thing or not in this game. Apparently they're not. Good to know. Okay, so more coastal forts over this way. Very low priority on all of that. Okay, so there's our northern coast in Europe there. I don't think we have any southern coast, but we do have this over here for Legionary Bulgaria. Can we build in them? No, they're a faction member. They're not a client state. Okay. We do have our Spanish coast, though, and we will definitely fortify that. Okay, so there's that, and then we'll need this down here, of course. And we'll just get that all fortified. This will take absolutely forever to build, and I have absolutely no faith that this will actually all get constructed. So there's our forts right there, our coastal forts. And we do need, I think, some in South Africa still. No, we queued those. Okay, that's fine. So I believe that is all of our coastal forts queued up. I do not believe we need any additional coastal forts. Ah, we're starting to have some tanks finishing up here. That's great. We're going to move them into this army. There we go. We are still having some excess military factories. And we're going to continue working on conversions here. How many more of those do we have? We have a number of them. It's going fairly slowly. Okay, so let's start working on land forts. Now, this is not a land border. This is. So we will follow this land border along over this way. And let's see, it goes up over here. And then I believe comes over this direction. Something along the lines of this. Yeah, that is, in fact, a location that we need to get. And then we'll get that one. Okay, and then we also need to fortify this border. I mean, we don't need to fortify these. This is just something that we can do if we have the spare time. I believe that one should be fortified as well. Actually, I'm not sure that this one should be. Yeah, there is a border there with this state and this state. Okay. Or rather, those provinces. So we'll build land forts in both of those locations. And then make our way down over this way. We also need a fort up that way. Okay, something kind of like this. We're just trying to hit up our border regions here. Like that. So that's all of our borders over this way. I believe there's no border here. Okay. And then we'll need our Panamanian border, as well as our Panama border with the US, and then our El Salvador border, and then our borders up here, like that. Okay, that's with the United Mexican States. Fantastic. Then we're going to build up our land fort borders over here and over here in South Africa. In fact, it should be all along this border. There we go. Fantastic. And then up here, things are going to get potentially slightly awkward in Europe, as they tend to do. Not there. Okay. We're going to head over this way. I believe this is our border here. Yes. Game is autosaving. Okay, there we go. And let's see. This is our territory as well, correct? Correct. So we're going to head over this direction. That is our territory. Okay, just checking. I believe this is not our territory down here. So this should be our border. Let's check that. Yes. Okay. Sounds great. And then we're going to head up over this way. Okay. Absolutely wonderful. Now, of course, this is an awkward border here. There's no doubt about it. So we're going to, no, not do that. We're going to continue to build land forts over this direction. All along this border. Let's see, that's not our border. This is our border. There we go. And we just want to make pushing in as costly as possible for the Allies here. Something like that. Next, we are going to fortify this border, which continues to be a fairly awkward border. But that is to be expected. So all of this down through here, like so. Okay. So that should be that European border. That looks correct to me. Oh, right, this over here. I almost forgot about Danzig and crew. Now, technically, we don't hold Danzig, but close enough. Okay, and then... No, we don't need this one. We don't need land forts on the coast. And we... There we go. Removed that. And then, of course, we're going to come over here to Asturias. We're going to fortify this region on up. And then down to this border, just so that we have solid fallback lines. And again, we're very unlikely to actually get all of this constructed. This is just planning for if we have spare resources to throw at it. Okay. So all along this border. Not that. There we go. And I believe that needs to be as well. There we go. And then over this way along the lines of that one. Okay, so something like so. Now for the Russian border. This one is going to be a pretty long one. And of course, we already knew that. Not you. There we go. So we're going to get all of these queued on up. And then this is the awkward Russian territory over here. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're just going to head on over this direction, right on along this border. Fantastic. And we'll head down over this way. Again, this is a very long border, and we do not expect that this is going to be a particularly complete wall. We're not banking on it. We would just like to have it. So we'll just push up over this way. And as we take more territory, of course, this goal will change. So that's also something to consider. There's a lot of things being queued, and it's very unlikely that we get all this built in any sort of a reasonable time frame. And I'm well aware of this. Okay. Just going to finish up our border wall here. The Great Wall of Brazil, I guess you could say, but we're really not focused on building it. It's just a plan at this stage. We'll see how much time the Allies actually give us. They seem to be fairly content to not be at war right now, and I am also fairly content to not be at war right now. Okay, so now we're going to grab this area over here, and we are just about done with this massive queuing project. And then this over here. Fantastic. Is that everything? I believe that's everything. Again, we're not in any rush to get that finished. That's going to be very lengthy indeed. So we'll just leave that languishing at the bottom of the list. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are not going to send these guys here. We are going to continue our constructions and, I believe, finish off our recruitment for our armored divisions. And I think we're actually positive in manpower now, too. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.